Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Sower here with Sower Real Estate at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. Before we jump into the numbers here, I wanted to touch on something that we're hearing a lot about in the market. And it's no surprise everybody's freaking out about, or not, I don't know if freaking out is the right word, but everybody's concerned about the low inventory, especially buyers as they're looking at getting into something, having a tough time finding that. And I find that when they're looking at selling their home, if they have to sell a home and buying, then that creates a whole nother concern. And I think, honestly, I think it's actually a pretty fair concern. And so I wanted to share a couple of the things that we've been doing because we haven't really seen that with our clients. We haven't seen that being an issue for them to find a place. So, for example, one of our clients that was looking in a very specific area, we had been reaching out to other people, and finally we were not having that much luck. And so what we did is actually wrote a letter. I worked with the title company, found this little area to send the letters out to, made it kind of personal, and there was a certain way that I wrote that letter. And we ended up getting 3 phone calls from people in that area that were thinking about selling. So they were not on the market yet. And we were able to have conversations. And I think one of them actually might work for them. So that's one thing. The other thing that we've done is be creative in how we write offers. For example, one of our clients, we ended up writing the offer to where we gave the seller an opportunity to rent back the house, etc., because we were able to be flexible on our end. So I think that would be one of the other things I would say is anytime you're looking at these kinds of things, make sure you know what your financing is. Talk with the lender so that you know going in, like what kind of flexibility you can have. And I find that that's very helpful. And I would say also just reach out to us and say, hey, here's my situation. What do you recommend? Because each of the scenarios that I'm talking about, as well as others, what I've noticed is that, once you know the situation, you can kind of fine tune and come up with some creative solutions. So if you're concerned about that and you're thinking about putting your home on the market and that's kind of one of the things that's holding you back, let us know, because it's something that I think is really doable to work around. That being said, I will say that if you have like super specific criteria, that can be a little bit more of a challenge. Like, for example, you have a family member and you want to live within walking distance of their house. that might be a little bit more difficult. So anyway, all right, so let's jump into the numbers. I really don't want to spend a ton of time on these today because, one, I think my videos are like too long, and two, a lot of it is the same old. I mean, like our inventory, you look, this is our chart that we put together that kind of takes a lot of this stuff and boils it down. This is our own set of numbers that we do. And you'll see that the inventory is the same, half a month, so there's no change there. Average home sale price, it did go up 1% this last month. But let me just point out the ones that are the biggest things to pay attention to. Pending is up almost 30%, 29.39% from January to February. And look at this. If you look at February, our active listings from last year were down almost 37%. So hence the reason why people are freaking out about selling their homes, not so much selling their homes, but selling and then buying, is because the inventory is so, I mean, you've got last year 534 homes on the market in February of 2019 versus this year 337. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, those are the two big numbers to kind of look at there. Here's my little rundown. Like I did in the last video, I looked at each area and it's kind of holding up pretty much like I had suspected. We did see a little bit of a bump in Southeast Meridian, but that was the only one. If you remember from the last video, there were 6. Was there 6? Yeah. No, there was 7, excuse me. There was 7 of the markets that were below the average. Same ones that, other than Southeast Meridian, kind of hit the below average. Big one here so far is the Boise Bench is up 3.2% in 2 months so far this year. Now, the 1.7%, if we continue that through the rest of the year, we'd be looking at a projected about 10% over the year, which that's kind of what I was thinking we'd be at, but who knows? I mean, we're only a couple months in, so that could totally change. Obviously, there's like a lot of info there, so I hope that doesn't bog anybody down or cause confusion. If you're thinking about buying or selling or investing, give us a call. We can talk about your scenario and run through those numbers a little bit more. All right, thanks. Bye.